Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Power Lap Endseason Recap, where we look back at the machines, the madness, and the magic from the last 10 episodes. This is the ultimate celebration of 50 race cars, each one tearing through our circuit in a battle for speed and glory. Some earned their place in the final showdown, while others fell short, leaving behind only a cloud of dust and shattered dreams. Today, we'll relive every roar, every near miss, and every breathtaking moment as we reveal which of these warriors claimed their spot in the grand finale at Circuit de La Sarthe. It's fast, it's ferocious, and it's utterly unmissable. Let's get started. This is the Power Lap Endseason Recap. Miggs aboard a classic Mercedes, the 300 SEL from 1969, with 282 horsepower. A car that's going to need a lot more than just sheer power to keep up with the competition. And Mig knows this. Just about loses it at Kruna, almost spins it. He powers on towards Chicago. There's some real brute force from that engine. A little slide coming out of Chicago. The Mercedes is playing a bit wild, but Miggs holding his ground. The brakes are a problem though. Really struggles at Hammerhead. You can see the suspension working overtime, the car understeering badly. Whoa, Miggs wrestling with this thing, stomping on the pedal. It's a handful out there. The car's slithering through follow-through. And now it's onto the straight. Water everywhere. It's as slick as soap. Hard on the brakes before the penultimate turn. Oh no! Mig can't stop. My God, he's off! Completely off! Brakes have failed on the right side, and the car just slides off the track. Mig just missed crashing into the team's office and the track barriers. Somehow, in all that wet grass, he's managed to bring it back on track. No damage to the car, but that was a close call. A reminder just how dangerous these machines can be when pushed to the limit. For safety reasons, we waited until the end of the day, hoping the track might dry out a bit. But no, of course not. Not here in the UK, where sunshine is as rare as a courteous roundabout exit. So here's Mig in a true icon, the oldest car to ever take on the Power Lap, the Maserati 250F. 12 cylinders, 310 horsepower, and the kind of pedigree that could make an Italian aristocrat blush. Into the Chicago, and it's practically wading through a lake. Mig battles the steering, barely keeping this piece of racing history from pirouetting into the nearest puddle. Foot down on the Hammerhead straight. And it's a full-on dance as he eases it into the bend with precision. Out on the back straight, the 250F slides dramatically from side to side, refusing to back down despite these monsoon-like conditions. Out of follow-through, tiptoeing through the pools of water, and Mig keeps it together. He rounds the final corners with surgical precision. And he's across the line. And he's off. Today we're talking about the Alpine A110, a Renault rally legend from the 70s with a humble 160 horsepower. Let's be honest here, it's going to be quite the task for this little car to crack the top 25, especially with Susie, the Mizo's so-called girlfriend, reading out her list of grievances from the passenger seat. The petite Alpine dives into Chicago, coming out with a spray of dirt and a slight loss of time. No head-turning speed on the straight here, braking for Hammerhead. And it's a tight, clean turn. But this car takes to the air. Mig isn't exactly coddling this little blue wonder. The real issue here is clear on the straights. This engine just doesn't have the punch of the modern monsters. But Mig presses on, wringing every bit of power out of it through follow-through. He charges past the tires, foot buried on the throttle. Wow! Nearly loses it on the final straight, pushing to the limit in maximum speed. Through the final corners now. Carefully negotiating Gambon. And he's across the line. Now then, a true legend enters the stage. And he's off. What we have here is none other than the iconic Lotus Type 25 from 1962, propelled by a V8 with just 195 horsepower. But this car was steered by none other than the legendary Jim Clark, one of the most astonishing drivers in Formula One history. Off the line, the Lotus squirms as it tackles Chicago, rear end slipping out in a graceful reminder of its age. Down the straight, Mig gives it everything, though admittedly, everything isn't quite the tsunami of power we see today. The car shudders, a relic braving the harsh braking into Hammer. It powers out, back-end writhing, but Mig wrestles it back under control. Into the follow-through, the Lotus is a ballet dancer on roller skates. He nicks the edge of Bentley, a heart-stopping moment, and you can see it. The car bucking and swaying like a stallion trying to throw its rider. Mig keeps his cool. Coming into the final stretch with Gambon in his sights. And there it is. A careful line through the last corner, and he crosses the line, kicking off the race car series. And he's off. The Mig is in command of the 4-Sport Turbo, a car from Brazil's famed touring car competitions. With just 237 horsepower, is nimble on its feet. The Mig is in control, rolling into Chicago. A touch of dirt on the exit, and he's up through third, fourth gear. Stretching everything it's got into Hammerhead, and the car just clings to the track. Steady, well-balanced, textbook handling. On the back straight, you feel that lack of power. But no hesitation. He throws it into follow-through, fast into Bentley, and the car brakes bite down. Whoa! Lifts a wheel right off the ground. A clear line into Gambol, and he crosses the line. To close the day, we've got the Lancia Fulvia from 1969. a car with 208 horsepower that clinched the International Rally title in 1972. Named after the ancient Roman road Via Fulvia, it's a fitting tribute for a machine about to face our own brutal gauntlet. Oh, and he's off the line just a bit before Chicago. The entire car shudders. Around Chicago now, and though it's lacking outright power, there's a beauty of consistency in this machine. Smooth braking into Hammerhead and a clean, agile turn through the bend. Mig is pressing down hard now through follow-through, urging every ounce of speed from this engine. Flying past the tires and surging down the straight. And wait, what's that? Is the car actually on 3 wheels? Tire smoke, and unbelievable, it's balancing on 3 wheels again. Through Gambon, still lifting a wheel and across the line. Oh, now here's something truly quirky from the golden age of rallying. The Renault Turbo 5. Yes, it's got just 160 horsepower, making it one of the least powerful entries in Power Lap so far. But don't be fooled. This little French marvel is agile enough to take on anything we throw at it. Down into Wilson, and oh, a minor mishap there, but Mig catches it beautifully. Turbo 5 recovers, showing off its nimble handling as it barrels through Chicago with remarkable aggression. On the straights, it's clearly struggling to keep pace, that modest horsepower only getting us so far. Braking hard into Hammer, the wheels lock momentarily, and it slides the rear end on exit, perfectly controlled. Into follow-through, and the Renault is giving every ounce it's got. Through the penultimate turn, smooth as you like, and then it's a strong approach into Gambon for the final stretch. And he's across the line. This time it's another Italian stallion. And we're off again. Mig is at the wheel of the 1982 Alfa Romeo GT-V6, packing 280 horsepower. A proper classic. But oh, a tail-happy one as it slides out of Crooner. Mig fights it back under control. Brilliant car handling there. Notice that high rear suspension. Our team didn't have time to tweak it, so it's running in its original setup. Yet, despite this, the GT-V6 is surprisingly nimble and gives the driver plenty of confidence. Blasting down the straight towards the opposite curve. Look at how the front dips hard under braking. Into the corner now, and Mig shifts short for a smooth exit, keeping the Alfa in check. Heading for the follow-through, Mig switches to staccato throttle control. Listen to the engine growl as he powers through. The GT-V6 is absolutely flying down the final straight. But here's the challenge, braking into the last section. Oh no, the back end. It dances dangerously close to chaos, skimming the grass. But Mig plants the throttle, and the car pirouettes beautifully through Gambon before crossing the line. What a show. Another rally legend from across Europe, small but fierce in Mig's hands. And he's off. This is the Ford Escort 1600 from 1973, prepared for rallying with 260 horsepower. It dives down crooner, the suspension working hard over every bump, stretching its legs on the straight toward Chicago, and Mig's pushing it. A bit of gravel kicks up on the exit. This Escort's ready for anything. Braking smoothly into Hammerhead now. A tidy corner entry, and look at that. A graceful tail slide on the way out. Mig's got it under control, and the Escort shows its true strengths. Balanced, agile, sharp brakes, and practically begging to be pushed. Flying through follow-through across the tire markers. Charging down the straight. Approaching the final corners with just a bit of caution. A clean line through Gambon, and he crosses. Let's see if Mig's recovered from that near disaster in the Mercedes. He's off. And this time it's the Opel Kadett, 207 horsepower of pure lightweight agility. He barrels into Wilson, pushes the car right to the edge in Chicago. The rear kicks out. Mig is not holding back. This little car has some serious fight in it. Hammerhead's next, and oh! The Opel slips, but Mig's not letting go. Foot planted on the floor. And he's wrestling with the Kadett to keep traction. He's absolutely determined to make a quick lap this time. The rain-soaked track, the final straight, an ocean of danger ahead. Careful. The rear is skittering out, sliding as he approaches Gambon, but he holds it. Mig crosses the line. This is a timeless classic. And he's off. We are talking about the Shelby Cobra 427 1967, boasting 300 horsepower and a reputation as one of the most iconic yet temperamental machines in automotive history. Mig approaches Wilson cautiously but accelerates as much as the car allows. Braking into Chicago, and there it is. Classic Cobra oversteer, the rear stepping out dramatically. Coming out of Chicago in low revs, Mig handles the car carefully. Now tearing down the straight, listen to that roaring V8, screaming through third gear. Slight understeer on the next turn, watch out. The Cobra clips the dirt, teetering on the edge of spinning out, but Mig keeps it together. Charging through follow-through, the Cobra bucks wildly, behaving more like a wild stallion than a race car. Again, third gear sends the tires spinning. Raw power unleashed. Mig fights to steady the beast through Carpenter. But struggles to hit the ideal line at Gambon. Still, he pulls it back and crosses the line. And he's off. This brute of a machine is the Ford Maverick 1974, a Division III stock car legend from Brazil. packing an incredible 477 horsepower, a true fan favorite in its homeland. Wow, MiG starts aggressively, taking to the grass and nearly losing control, exiting Crooner. The Maverick's tail slides out, but MiG wrestles it back in check through Wilson. Absolutely stunning car control. This beast is no walk in the park. Understeering into Chicago, but roaring down the straight with that unmistakable engine growl. Into Hammerhead, MiG keeps the line tight. But the Maverick feels loose at 190 kilometers per hour. You can feel the raw power. Through follow-through now, MiG lifts slightly but uses every inch of the track. The car rockets past Bentley, sounding absolutely glorious. Approaching Carpenter, MiG slams on the brakes to rein in this near 2-ton monster, grabbing a bit of grass for good measure. And now into Gambon, holding it steady, keeping everything under control. The Maverick crosses the line. With a beastly 290 horsepower, this competitor is a whole new incarnation of a car we've seen in the street division, and he's off. It's the BMW M3 Group A, straight out of 1986. Racing modifications mean this is a completely different animal. Wheels lock coming out of Wilson. And it's clear, this car is on edge. Charging through the first bend of Chicago, fast and ferocious. It glides out onto the straight. Hitting 200 kilometers per hour, mid-GE has to stay sharp. He brakes with precision into Hammer, taking the turn cleanly, and now he's gearing up to plunge into follow-through. No hesitation there. He's past Bentley in a flash. This is a blistering lap. Wrestling a bit with the car, he catches a patch of dirt. Enters Gambon with everything he's got and crosses the line. To wrap up today, a monster from the 60s. And there it goes. This is the Porsche 908 LH, a 1968 masterpiece packing 350 horsepower of pure, unfiltered history. Smoking it through Wilson, Memi-G holds the beast steady. The front end rises, dipping into Chicago. And as he pulls out of the corner, it's pedal to the metal. 180, 220 kilometers per hour. Now it's a slam on the brakes into Hammer. The car drifts, and MiG catches it. Roaring down the back straight, he's about to dive into follow-through. Hard braking, and miraculously, he's out with speed. This car isn't here to mess around. Absolutely flies past the tires, and on this final stretch, the Porsche is dancing. This long-tail beast is a veteran of the Nürburgring 24 hours, an icon. Careful on the Gambon. And over the line. No, it's not a lunar rover, though it looks like something out of NASA, and it's off. It's another legend of the track. MiG is piloting the astonishing Chaparral 2D from 1966, packing a ferocious 422 horsepower. And already, it slips coming into Wilson. The car veers onto the grass, losing precious time. But he's back on track, holding tight through Chicago. The low revving growl of that massive engine is unmistakable. Hammerhead now. Watch out, Mig nearly overshoots it. The brakes are working overtime trying to halt this rocket. The Chaparral 2D struggles on our track, unable to unleash the full fury of its engine. He charges into follow-through, zipping past Bentley at an almost unsettling speed. The car is rock solid as it gains speed, charging toward the final stretch. Braking hard for the last corners, Mig pulls it together. Enters Gambon and crosses the line. And Mig is off. Behind the wheel of the 1974 Porsche Carrera RSR, a masterpiece of the 911 lineage, packing 330 horsepower. Many say this is the most beautiful 911 ever made, but let's see if it's as fast as it is pretty. Mig powers through Wilson, pushing the limits early on. Into Chicago now, smooth entry, but oh, kicking up a cloud of dirt on the exit. The RSR blasts through the debris like a rocket. Hammerhead next. And Mig's absolutely wringing its neck. Precision on the edge before opening up the throttle for the straight. The follow-through proves tricky. A slight overshoot costs precious time, but Mig's back in control. On the main straight, the RSR 3.0 shows its pedigree, roaring down the tarmac like a lion let loose. Into the penultimate corner. Watch out, a touch of grass there. Mig doesn't flinch, lining up Gambon with second gear screaming, and across the line. What you're seeing here is one of only 3 Ferrari 330 P4s ever made. Need I say more? And there it goes. Mig is at the wheel of this 1967 masterpiece, a beast with 450 horsepower, a privilege that only a select few have ever experienced. But wait, already testing it hard on the first corner. Into Chicago now, and the 330 P4 just begs for throttle. It's remarkably stable, cutting through with elegance and force. Down the straight, it's flying. Hard braking into Hammerhead. And back on the gas for the approach to follow through. This was the car Ferrari built to challenge the Ford GT40 after the infamous Le Mans defeat. He's tearing past the tyre markers with precision, hurtling down the final straight. Mig is handling it with care now. Swinging the rear around Gambon, and he's over the line. And Mig is off. This time he's behind the wheel of the 1976 Lancia Monte Carlo, a car with just 218 horsepower. But don't be fooled, it's a machine built to win. A bit of oversteer into Wilson, but Mig reels it in effortlessly. The suspension, absolutely sublime. This car is planted on the tarmac like it's been glued there. Stretching its legs now on the Chicago straight, smooth, composed, and begging for more. Hammerhead approaches, and Mig slams on the brakes. The Monte Carlo doesn't flinch. It's solid, responsive, and perfectly in sync with its driver. Into the follow-through. Oh, look at this. Mig's got the throttle wide open and the Lancia is taking it like a champ. Through Bentley now, what curve. It's as if the Monte Carlo simply ignored it. And here come the final turns. Mig's throwing the car around with confidence. Into Gambon, arcing through beautifully, and across the line. Speaking of rally legends, this is one of the most famous cars of all time, and he's off. It's the Toyota Celica ST185, a 1989 powerhouse that rewrote the rally playbook with its 295 horsepower. Dominating the rally scene in the late 80s, this car became a symbol of Toyota's prowess. Mig seems completely in sync with the Celica, and the car responds to every command. Through Chicago with absolute precision, this is textbook handling. Now ripping down the straight, confidence radiates in every gear shift. Hammerhead, no sweat. Look at that balance and grip. Onto the back straight and full throttle through follow-through. Mig's pushing hard and the Celica doesn't flinch. Passing the tire stacks, it's calm yet assertive. Into the final curves, traction is on point. The Celica is unshaken as it transitions into Gambon at speed. It crosses the line with finesse. And he's off. Another rally star, a Citroën BX from 1986 with 380 horsepower of pure 80s charm. Rumor has it, Mig's co-driver is actually his jealous girlfriend, but honestly, I doubt he has one. A bit of a wobble out of Crooner, such a treacherous curve, that one. Into Chicago, and the Citroën seems almost polite compared to the beast we saw earlier. But look at that control into Hammerhead. In conditions like these, it's no easy feat, yet Mig keeps this thing on a leash. Full throttle into follow-through, foot absolutely pinned. And look at it sway on the final straight. There's so much water, it could be a small lake out there. Careful through the last few bends into Gambon and over the line. And Mig is off. Behind the wheel of the legendary Audi Sport Quattro 1984R, Mig takes on the challenge of taming its 540 horsepower. The sharp break into Wilson. Oh no. The Audi dips onto the grass but recovers quickly. Through Chicago now, sliding gracefully. This car may be powerful, but it handles like a dream. This is yet another rally king putting its reputation on the line at our track. Into Hammerhead, Mig uses every bit of track, expertly guiding the Audi through the turn before unleashing its brute force down the straight. Follow through is textbook. Mig nails the racing line, pushing the Quattro to its limit. Flying past Bentley with utter confidence, this car feels at home in high-speed sections. Coming into Carpenter, Mig's aggression is clear. Understeer strikes at Gambon. The Artie pushes wide, but Mig keeps control. And he's off. It's a rainy day here at Dunsfold, and Mig is behind the wheel of the iconic Ford RS200 from 1985, packing a mighty 450 horsepower. There's water everywhere. The threat of aquaplaning is massive, but look at how this Ford clings to the track. He storms out of Chicago with astonishing acceleration, foot down, hammering down the straight. Into Hammerhead, no fuss at all. The car is holding firm, glued to the wet asphalt. After all, this is a beast bred for the world's most treacherous rallies. A bit of rain is nothing. He rips down the back straight, plunging into follow-through, pushing this car to the edge. A look at that water on the final stretch. A slight tap of the dirt on the penultimate corner. The car dances smoothly into Gambon, and Mig crosses the line. And closing the day, it's Mig behind the wheel of his very own Formula Renault prototype, a machine he races competitively. And yes, you'll get to watch all the action right here on Motorcine. Out of the crooner. Whoa! The car bucks wildly and Mig slides it sideways. Incredible. These machines demand precision, and Mig, he shows no mercy. This Renault prototype boasts a punchy 1.6-liter engine, packing 309 HP, bolted onto a chassis tuned specifically for the track. Hammerhead, everything locks up. Mig's ringing it out, leaving nothing on the table. Third gear, tires screaming on the back straight. This is rapid. The car's bouncing through the curves again, yet Mig keeps it planted. Flies through the Bentley. Catches a bit of grass on the penultimate turn. Aggressive through Gambon and across the line. With by 285 horsepower, this French contender faces a daunting challenge. Enter the Citroën ZX Rally, a 1997 icon of the rallying world. Following some blistering performances, the ZX has its work cut out to leave a mark on our leaderboard. As always, Susie rides shotgun with Mig, and her list of complaints keeps growing, though the Citroën seems determined to prove itself. The ZX takes to the track with finesse, its nimbleness shining through every corner. It exits Chicago with a dust cloud in tow, as though it's back in its natural rallying habitat. Mig showcases the impressive agility of this machine, compensating for its lack of final speed with flawless handling. At follow-through, the Citroën dives in with confidence, showing off its rally heritage. Speeding through Bentley at full throttle, the ZX pushes to its absolute limit. The final sector is executed with precision and pace, emphasizing its strengths. Stretching second gear to the max, the Citroën crosses the finish line. This roaring dragon is a German classic, and he's off. It's the BMW M1 Pro car from 1979, packing an angry 468 horsepower under its hood. This iconic car had a remote-controlled version called Pegasus in the 80s, and MiG once owned one. The roar of the M1 fills the air with fury, probably the loudest and angriest sound we've heard so far. MiG rockets down the straight, unleashing the beast. Braking hard into hammerhead, the stiff suspension keeps the car composed. A quick flick of oversteer on the exit, but it's expertly controlled. Heading into the next straight, the Pegasus screams at full throttle. High revs as MiG dives into Carpenter, maintaining a perfect line. Well behaved through Gambon, and it crosses the line, crowding its way to the finish. And he's off! MiG takes the wheel of the Peugeot 205 T60, a rally legend from 1984. Don't be fooled by its compact size. This little beast is packing a jaw-dropping 550 horsepower. Look at that grip. The car seems glued to the tarmac, darting down the straight with an agility that belies its diminutive frame. And the power? Oh, it's there. Effortless acceleration and eye-watering top speeds. Into hammerhead, those French engineers have nailed the balance. It brakes sharp, corners tighter than a coiled spring, and gives MiG complete control. Onto the back straight, screaming toward follow-through. MiG dives in, no hesitation. Passes through Bentley like a rocket. What a lap he's crafting here. Pushes hard on the penultimate corner, throwing everything at it. And Gambon. A cheeky little shortcut. MiG wrings every ounce out of the car and flies across the line. Coming straight from the Czech Republic with just 210 horsepower, and he's off. MiG is at the helm of the Praga R1, and don't be fooled by the modest four-cylinder Renault engine. This car is all about precision and performance. Gliding through Wilson, MiG keeps it tight. He approaches Chicago with confidence, hitting the perfect traction point on the exit and accelerating cleanly. Stretching every bit of speed on the straight, the Praga handles beautifully into hammerhead. A clean turn here. And now MiG pushes it through follow-through, foot flat down. And the R1 responds like clockwork. It slices through Bentley like a scalpel through air, showcasing its superb balance and aerodynamic prowess. This car gives the sense of being perfectly under control, as if it's an extension of the driver. Closing in on Gambon, the Praga stays sharp and crosses the line. And he's off! MiG takes the wheel of the legendary Lotus 49 from 1967, a car driven to glory by none other than Jim Clark himself. And just look at MiG, already flicking the car sideways through Crooner, showcasing that perfect balance of control and chaos. Through Chicago now, and this Lotus isn't just fast, it's blinding. With 410 horsepower under its featherweight frame, this was a machine that redefined the racing car. Acceleration, top speed, and braking. It's a masterclass in 1960s innovation. Careful now into hammerhead. A cheeky bit of oversteer on the exit, and the car wobbles down the back straight. Oh, and it's dancing now. A bit of a shimmy at high speed, but Mig keeps his nerve. Flying past the tires at full tilt, this car feels alive. Into the final sequence, taking care not to squander a superb lap. Through Gambon now, and across the line. Though it's a stellar race car, cracking the top times will be a daunting challenge. And it's off. This is the Lotus 311, a 2015 Marvel packing 460 horsepower. What agility! The Lotus demonstrates incredible stability through the corners and jaw-dropping acceleration on the straights. Braking hard into the hammerhead. It understeers slightly, but recovers and rockets forward with poise. A small misstep as it grazes the grass on the back straight, but Mig keeps it in check. Diving into the follow-through and handles the corner with finesse. Wow, look at it scream past the Bentley, like a hurricane on wheels. Its diminutive size belies its phenomenal speed. And it crosses the line. Wrapping up the day with that beautiful sound, and he's off. Mig is piloting the Maserati MC12 GT1, a 2004 masterpiece packing 504 horsepower. Right out of the Wilson, the car feels rock solid. No drama, just poise. But oh no. Slightly overcooks it in Chicago, running a touch wide. Yet this machine is so finely tuned that Mig swiftly recovers and storms down the straight. Into Hammerhead. Wow, just look at that. Mig slides in with all four wheels locked, hitting the perfect braking point. A pure display of skill. The Maserati powers out quickly, eating up the asphalt. Mig holds back slightly through follow-through. But listen to that glorious roar as the car is past the tires. Approaching Carpenter now. Oh, the rear steps out. Mig battles it masterfully, regaining control after a little tussle. And the Maserati crosses the line. Announcing its presence with a phenomenal roar, Mig introduces the first Jaguar of the competition. The XJR9, a 1988 legend boasting an astonishing 750 horsepower, bred for dominance at Le Mans. Mig launches out of crooner, already lighting up the tires. Aggressive driving suits this beast perfectly. The Jaguar slices through Chicago like an arrow, though it kicks up some dirt on exit. Down the straight, its terrifying speed leaves no doubt about its racing pedigree. At Hammerhead, the car feels like a precision machine. A bump on exit throws Mig into a brief battle for control. The XJR9 stays glued to the ground through follow-through, its aerodynamic prowess shining. Into Carpenter, Mig rides the curbs, eking out every bit of speed. Accelerating fiercely out of Gambon, the Jaguar crosses the line. Another German GT3 machine hits the track, and he's off. This is the BMW M3 GT3, a 2009 legend packing 485 horsepower. Right away, the M3 locks its tyres under heavy braking at Kruna, showing just how aggressive this car can be. Through Chicago, it handles smoothly, staying composed and responsive. Stretching its legs on the straight, the M3 displays strong acceleration. Braking into the next curve is intense, tyres screeching under the strain. But Mig wastes no time, hammering the throttle to dive into follow-through. Balanced and quick, this BMW GT3 feels like a perfect fit for the category's legacy on our leaderboard. The final sector is cautious but smooth, and with a clean line through Gambon, the BMW rockets across the finish line. And he's off! Mig takes on the Mercedes-AMG GT3, packing 520 horsepower and a reputation to defend. Down the Dunsfold straight, it's not the cleanest launch, but the AMG picks up pace. Into Wilson, precise and tight, showing good balance. Through Chicago, nimble yet solid, it hugs the apex. But let's see how it handles the acceleration. On the straight, the AMG bellows with that deep, unmistakableness growl. At Hammerhead, a sharp downshift keeps it pinned to the tarmac, smoothly pulling through the turn. Out on the straight, Mig rings every ounce of speed, the car thundering ahead. Into follow-through, and the AMG streaks past like a comet grazing the Bentley. Downshift snap cleanly for Carpenter. Though Mig, true to form, takes a detour through the grass. A solid entry into Gambon, pushing hard and across the line. But the competition is fierce, and he's off. This time in another GT3 monster, the Porsche 911 GT3, boasting 500 horsepower. The 911 looks poised through the early corners with Mig pushing it hard. A slight slip in Chicago, but the brakes keep the car perfectly under control, precision engineering at its finest. Hammerhead is a masterclass in accuracy. Miggy threads the car through without a millimeter wasted. This is absolute control. On the back straight, the Porsche roars to life. Pedal to the floor. Oops, a quick brush with the grass there, but Mig stays focused, bringing every ounce of speed out of the car. Through the final sequence, it's clean through Carpenter. Cautious but swift in Gambon, and the Porsche crosses the line. And off he goes. Closing today's session is the BMW Z4 GT3, a 2010 marvel packing 530 horsepower. This car carries the weight of expectation as part of a category that has consistently dominated our leaderboard. Through Wilson, it feels planted and confident. Chicago is handled with remarkable precision, the car glued to the ground. A slight wobble on the straight, but Mig stays composed, keeping the car firmly in line. The paddle shift gearbox proves invaluable during the braking zone at Hammerhead. With agility, the Z4 pivots cleanly to power down the next straight. As the day turns into a beautiful evening at Dunsfold, The BMW streaks through Bentley with stunning speed. Approaching Carpenter, it loses a touch of rear-end grip, but recovers effortlessly. Charging into Gambon with determination, the Z4 crosses the finish line with a flourish. This car carries the legacy of a Formula One lineage. And he's off! The McLaren MP412C GT3 from 2011 roars with 500 horsepower and spits fire like a dragon. Mig navigates Wilson with precision, solid and fast. Into Chicago, the McLaren shows its class perfectly under control. A powerful exit sends it screaming down the straight. Whoa! Late braking, fantastic, but oh no, it overshoots the curve. Despite the mistake, it's still a blistering lap. Mig regains composure and powers through the next straight, foot to the floor. Diving smoothly into follow-through, lifting slightly but maintaining speed. Flying past the Bentley, the McLaren is a bullet on wheels. Approaching Carpenter, what speed? How will it handle? Expert braking. Clean and sharp, into Gambon. Wait, hold on. Unbelievable. Mig spins, but the McLaren slides across the line in style. And off he goes. Representing Italy and a perfect choice for rookie drivers, this is the Tatuus FA01, equipped with a humble 198 horsepower, making it one of the least powerful cars to tackle our track. Through Wilson, Mig keeps it tidy. It hugs the ground beautifully through Chicago, showcasing a machine where aerodynamics and agility shine brighter than raw power. Braking hard into Hammerhead, the Tatuus displays unwavering composure, flowing through the curve and stretching all it's got on the straight. Diving into follow-through at full throttle, there's still room to spare on the track. A precise entry into Carpenter follows. The Tatuus straightens up, rockets ahead, and crosses the finish line. And he's off. Speaking of speed, here comes the Lamborghini Huracan GT3. With a blistering 600 horsepower, it's one of the fastest and most agile machines in its class. Out of crooner, and just look at that precision. This Lambo feels like it's riding on rails. Through Chicago, the acceleration out of the corner is jaw-dropping. Slamming the brakes into Hammerhead, it handles the curve without a hitch, even smoothing over a bump in the track like it's nothing. Speed climbs on the back straight. 230 kilometers per hour. It lifts slightly through follow-through, then surges back into full throttle. This is shaping up to be a blisteringly quick lap. Hugging the track through Bentley, it's aerodynamic perfection in motion. The Huracan sticks to the tarmac like glue. Approaching the final sequence, the control and precision are remarkable. Into Gambon, clean and controlled, and it crosses the line. A rare blend of Italian craftsmanship and American ambition now roars onto the track. This is the Scuderia Glickenhaus SCG003C, a boutique endurance beast with 530 horsepower, ready to impress. MiG approaches Chicago with care, showcasing the SCG's remarkable agility and obedience. Hitting the straight, MiG stomps the throttle, and the Glickenhaus rockets forward. Into Hammerhead, the car is calm and composed. No slides, no drama, just precision. The SCG shines as it accelerates down the back straight, taking full advantage of its balanced engineering. Through follow-through, MiG keeps the pedal down. Few cars can maintain such speed through this section, but the SCG excels. Blazing through Bentley, the car shows off its incredible pace. Into the final corners, MiG handles the SCG with precision. A small misstep at Gambon. Still, the Glickenhaus crosses the finish line with authority. And he's off. MiG is behind the wheel of a true F1 icon, the Lotus 72D, once piloted by the legendary Emerson Fittipaldi, boasting 440 horsepower from its classic Cosworth V8 engine. MiG attacks Wilson at speed in this revolutionary machine that redefined F1 with its aerodynamics and advanced use of downforce. Sliding slightly through Chicago, the Lotus stays glued to the tarmac, a testament to its genius design. This is history in motion, ladies and gentlemen. Blasting down the straight, the engine sings. Look at how it carves through Hammerhead. Exactly what you'd expect from a Formula One legend. With blistering acceleration, the Lotus devours the back straight, a roaring masterpiece. It dives into follow-through, blazing past the tires at astonishing speed. Hitting 270 kilometers per hour on the final stretch, the Lotus is pure precision. Controlled braking into Carpenter. Elegantly through Gambon and across the line. And he's off. Behind the wheel of the Jaguar XJR12, a 1990 Le Mans legend with a ludicrous 750 horsepower, MiG is about to unleash this growling beast on our humble little track. Down through Wilson, and he's treating it with the kind of respect you'd give a ticking time bomb, careful but nervous. Into Chicago, and here we go. The Jaguar starts to fight back, slipping just a bit as if to say, "Are you sure about this?" Now onto the straight, and the engine roars like a lion that's just been woken up. The acceleration is brutal. But oh, a lock-up into Hammerhead. MiG's wrestling with the car as it snaps at him like a rabid dog. He manages to keep it together, but that surely cost a fraction of a second. Coming out of the turn, the Jaguar screams down the back straight, stretching its legs, but something feels off. It's not quite as planted, almost like it's caught a cold. Through that follow-through when MiG's giving it everything, those tires barely holding on. Approaching Carpenter, he's late on the brakes, but somehow the Jaguar stays in line. And MiG tucks it in with all the finesse of a man trying to park in a space half the size of his car. And across the line. A true marvel of aerodynamics takes the stage. This is the Chevrolet Intrepid GTP, the 1991 prototype boasting a mind-blowing 750 horsepower. MiG launches down Krula, steering into Wilson with precision. Whoa! A sudden slide, and MiG recovers in the blink of an eye. Through Chicago, the Intrepid flies like an arrow, showcasing some of the fastest acceleration ever seen on this track. The roar of the engine fills the air as the car devours the straight. Heavy braking into the tricky Hammerhead. And there's another snap of oversteer. MiG holds firm, taming the beast. It dances perfectly through follow-through, apex precision at its finest before blasting past the tires like a missile. Braking for Carpenter, MiG balances control and aggression. Finally, with the rear end swinging wildly through Gambon, the Intrepid slides across the finish line in spectacular style. And he's off. Behind the wheel of an icon, Mig pilots the Ferrari 312T, the 1975 machine that carried Niki Lauda to glory, boasting 495 horsepower and legendary handling. Mig attacks Wilson with authority, pushing the car to its limits. Through Chicago, the blistering acceleration of the 312T is on full display. Roaring down the straight as the engine screams with ferocity. Approaching Hammerhead, Mig brakes late. Tires lock briefly, but his skill keeps the car in check. Easing onto the throttle, the Ferrari surges onto the straight, its flat 12 engine singing an operatic crescendo. Through follow-through, Mig handles the speed masterfully. At Bentley, the Ferrari blitzes past in a display of agility and raw power. Into Carpenter, Mig opts for a tight, calculated approach. Finally, he takes the Gambon apex, skimming the curb, and blasts across the finish line. And he's off. What better way to close out the season finale than with a sunset backdrop and one final lap? The Ferrari 488 GT3 from 2011, boasting 500 horsepower, takes center stage for its chance at glory. Mig wastes no time, pushing the Ferrari hard through the opening curves. The 488 responds like a ballet dancer, agile, poised, and utterly confident. On the straight, its acceleration shines as Mig rings out every ounce of speed. Into Hammerhead, Mig brakes late. Come on, Mig, one last push. Short shifting on the exit, taming the beast and launching onto the back straight. The Ferrari tears into follow-through, full tilt, like a red streak in the fading light. Dunsfold's twilight sky watches as this masterpiece dances on the edge of grip. Approaching Carpenter, the Ferrari scrapes its underside on the entry. Sparks flying everywhere. Into Gambon, perfect and clean, Mig crosses the finish line for the final time. And he's off! Mig takes command of the Peugeot 905 Evo, a 650 horsepower beast from the golden age of prototype racing. Into Wilson, and Mig is keeping it cautious, but the 905 already sounds like it's begging to be unleashed. Out of the short straight and into Chicago, the Peugeot roars like a lion on the hunt, slicing through the corner with precision. Down the main straight and it's a blur. Approaching Hammerhead, and what's this? A surprising angle of attack, daringly tight, bold but effective. The 905 handles it beautifully, accelerating hard out of the bend. Charging down the back straight, it's all systems go as Mig prepares for the follow-through. Blazing past Bentley, the Peugeot shows no signs of letting up. But hold on, here comes the Carpenter, and the ties lock up. Mig wrestles the car back under control, narrowly saving the lap from disaster. Into Gambon, and a cheeky little slide across the line. And he's off. Mig now commands the mighty Porsche GT198, a 1996 marvel packing 600 horses of Stuttgart tradition. Barreling down Krooner, Mig is setting a steady rhythm, and the Porsche is behaving like a well-trained dressage horse. Graceful, poised, elegant. Into Chicago, and just look at how this thing glides through the turn. But wait, what's this? He's run wide, dipped a wheel into the dirt. No matter, because now it's full throttle on the straight. The Porsche roars, a sound so intoxicating it should come with a warning label. Into Hammerhead, braking late but controlled. Out of the corner, and oh, the front end pushes wide. The GT1 snapping back like a rebellious teenager. Mig masterfully wrestles it back in line. Follow through, and the Porsche is using every inch of the track. Down the back straight now, the engine screams like an opera singer hitting the high notes. And oh dear, the GT1's at it again, losing the front, the rear swinging wildly like it's had a bit too much to drink. Mig fights it off, a final push and across the line. And he's off! It's the grand finale of the first season, where we'll find out which 25 race cars will earn their spot in the ultimate showdown. Taking the stage is the Glickenhaus P4 Competizione, armed with 450 horsepower and raring to go. Not the most brutish machine, but Mig is wringing every ounce of performance from it, determined to set a blistering time. Flat out down the straight, the P4 hits 240 kilometers per hour, the engine singing a glorious aria of precision engineering. Into Hammerhead now, and what a display, clean, controlled, and oh so graceful. It's as if the P4 is saying, curves, is that all you've got? Blasting down the back straight, Mig plants his foot, pushing the Competizione to its absolute limit. A daring dive into follow through. The Glickenhaus is flirting with the edge of the track, two wheels on the grass. He's back on it, braking hard for Carpenter, and the P4 obeys like a loyal hound. Into Gambon, the line is smooth as butter, and across the line he goes. Ah, behold a modern classic. This is the Toyota Minolta 88C, a 1988 marvel with a monstrous 797 horsepower, a true star of the All Japan Sports Prototype Championship. Descending the crooner with confidence, it feels planted. Sweeping through the Wilson, precise and assured. No drama as it glides past the Chicago, a smooth operator. On the straight, Mig unleashes the Toyota's raw power, the engine roaring in fury. Frying tires into the Hammerhead, the car flirts with disaster but holds firm. The iconic Minolta livery shines as it accelerates into the back straight. Flying like a bullet past the Bentley markers, it's poetry in motion. Mig keeps a firm hand, coaxing every ounce of performance. Through the Carpenter, spotless execution. Entering Gambon, this lap is a masterpiece. The Toyota crosses the line. This was one of the most dominant prototype cars of the 90s. And it's off. Mig takes on the Toyota Eagle 3, a 1991 masterpiece powered by a jaw-dropping 750 horsepower. Flying down the Dunsfold straight, it hugs the crooner with confidence, glued to the track. Inside the claustrophobic cockpit, Mig stretches its legs through Chicago, nailing the apex beautifully. The straight feels almost too short for the Eagle's ferocious acceleration. Watch that control. It handles the corner with precision. But the track's undulations threaten disaster. Mig corrects with lightning reflexes. A flawless trajectory through the follow-through, and wow, the Eagle screams past the tires at near light speed. A minor slide in the Carpenter, but Mig is wringing every last tenth from this beast. He battles the Gambon, dancing on the edge, and crosses the line. And here it comes. The track version of a car that already left its mark in our road car division. This is the McLaren P1 GTR, boasting a staggering 986 horsepower, even more powerful than its civilized sibling. Mig dives into Wilson, and the P1 GTR feels oddly tame, despite the raging storm of power beneath its sleek skin. Into Chicago and on. Did he just treat that corner like a straight? Absolutely astounding grip. Down the straight, and the GTR unleashes its fury, pinning Mig to his seat like a fighter pilot. Into Hammerhead, Mig is calm and composed, managing the beast with precision. On the back straight, the acceleration is nothing short of lunacy. So far, it's a flawless lap, a symphony of speed and control. Braking for follow-through, Mig nails the line, showing off the P1 GTR's perfect balance. On the final stretch, the GTR twitches, skimming the dirt, and Mig's wrestling it back under control as he approaches Carpenter. No room for error at these speeds, folks. Into Gambon, the line is tight and precise. He crosses the line and the clock stops.
And there you have it, the 50 race cars that burned rubber, shattered records and fought tooth and nail for a place in the final. From the precision of the GT3s to the sheer fury of the prototypes, the best of the best have risen to the top. But as we prepare for the final battle, where road cars and race cars collide, the question remains: who will become the king of Power Lap? Stick around, subscribe to Motorcine, and join us next time as the countdown to the Power Lap King Trophy race begins.